So with this one, I'm going to take her into a basket. So I've got this shot here. I'm going to drag her across into this basket and then change the colour of her wrap. I'm anticipating that's how it will work. But she's got the lovely purple curly felt that matches the nest. So what I'll do is just get her about the size where I think I want her. I want to invert that. Sorry, I'm going to put a mask on that, invert it, and then paint that back in with a white brush. Right, so now that I've got that there, I'm also anticipating that I'll probably change the wrap colour. So what I'll do is I'll get her a little bit bigger. We'll see how far we can push it. I tend to like to have my babies with their bottom in the corner. So what I'll do here is paint in a little bit more up to the edges here and see if we can blend in a little bit more. Get those matching. That's looking good so far. So what I'm going to do now is just look for the things that, especially the part around her head, I want to make sure that that is erased right back here, so it's not over the flower. There we go. I don't want any of that over flowers around the edges. So I'm picking up the difference in colour. I want to make sure I've got all those nice flower edges there, because that's going to give away that composite look if you're covering things like that. So go around all the edges, make sure they're completely erased off. There we go. This has got a bit more of a yellow tone to it, so what I'll do is actually get rid of some of that yellow once we put her in there. So what I'm going to do, come back with an eraser and then erase some of those curls back. Sorry, I'm just going to take some of that. This is the one that's come into the backdrop, so I'm going to take a little bit of that away just to blend it in with the curls that are there. And I'll come back, and this is a bit dark here, so I might even see what's underneath that. Just take away that light spot. I'm actually going to darken that down because that's going to actually draw attention to the fact that it looks like a composite. So I'll make sure that is all coloured in there, that's good. There we go. So what I'm going to do, this actually feels like I'm going to have to colour that in. What I want to do then is to put a curves layer underneath to just darken down the nest underneath. So curves layer, I'll mask that off, invert it so I can paint back underneath the nest where I want a little bit of shadow to fall. So if she was in the nest, she'd throw a little bit of shadow over here. So I'll just darken those flowers down a little bit over there. So I'm also going to now come on the top and do a curves layer again, because I'm going to darken down that fluff down the side that's looking a little bit highlighted while we're here. There, that bit there. I'm going to follow the natural shadow line of that fluff. Can you see how that's kind of just making it look a little bit more believable with a bit more shadow coming there? So you can see how that's following the curls a little bit. So this is a curves layer on the top, and now I'm just going to make sure that the shadows make sense if she was actually in this nest. So they look good to me. A little bit more there. So what we've got there is that's about as much as I would do. Now I'm going to flatten that because we need to edit our baby. So we'll come in and we'll do our fix-ups here. again, this is all with the patch tool. Just get a little bit of that. Alright, she's probably looking about where I would normally do a skin edit. And so what I'll do is I'll use Dodge and Burn as well after that. So I'm going to do a build on the top of that. I'm going to change those flowers there from green, I think, so that it matches nicely. Remember to take the yellow out too. So what I might do is actually start with that. So I've got a yellow removal here, and I might just get rid of some of that yellow that's on the top there. That was in the layer that came through. I just noticed there was a difference in the yellow, so that makes it a little bit trickier to match. So that's my colour balance layer. Just soften that up a little bit. I'll get some of the blues out of these cheeks here. I'm also going to pop a bit of light in there with my exposure layer because she's feeling a bit dark. Get my exposure layer and grab some light there. And then I'm going to get my hue and saturation, take some of the yellow out, change that to red a little bit there, mask it, invert, and just paint some back in here, some of the yellow bits here. The other thing I'm going to do is Dodge and Burn layer, so I come in here and give her face a little bit of a touch up. So I have got a little bit of white light there coming on her eyelid. Fill in that there, bit on her lips, fill in some of those little spots there. So what I'll do now is do the eyelash line, just come in with a really fine little bit finer. Right, so now I'm going to come back out, and she's looking good. Let's do some skin, soften skin. Then I'll erase that back off. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit more light in that side part of her face. I think I might use contrast as well, just to even up that face a little bit. And then pop a little bit more light, exposure change again, a little bit more. Great, all right. So I might just do a tiny little liquefy, so another layer. I could have done this before we popped her in so it doesn't change the nest. So I'll just push her in a touch there and push her down here. Just so it feels a little bit rounder. There we go. It's only tiny little tweaks. But what I'll do now is change the flower on her headband. So I'll make that, I'll see what that goes to. Where's it? Pink? Yeah. I think it's pink there, so we'll just see. See if that's going to work for me. Get rid of the other bit. Another thing you can do is colorize. I think that sometimes gets rid of the... Is it making that purple? It's not actually bringing in the colour. There we go. Yeah, that's not working. Alright, that one's brought in green, but I don't want green. That's kind of alright. I don't mind that. It's just that that green was really popping as something that stood out. Alright, so let's have a look at what colour we can make the wrap. That looks nice. Pink, and then I might just desaturate a little bit and then see how that's going to paint in. I think it's going to be quite bright. I think I like that rose colour. Oops. So what I'll do now that I've got it all covered there, just come back. So what you can also do, what I will do here, very, what am I brushing my on? There we go. Is some of these areas that are still a little bit yellow, you can come back through with, let me just have a look. I want to make sure I get a nice dusty pink. Let's have a look. See if we can, there we go. I think that's a bit nicer. And then I'm going to get rid of some of the yellows still in here by just taking out the yellow out of everything and making it very pink. So I've got shadows, take the yellow out, highlights, take the yellow out of here and make it red. So what I do then is do the extreme, invert that out with a very, very soft brush, come down to about 8%, and then with my colour balance layer, I'll just run along some of those areas that could be a little bit yellow still. That's my colour balance layer. That will help blend everything in together. And I'll just reduce that a little bit. Looking good. All right. Let me see. There we go. Looks great.